Short video is going to demonstrate the ability of the Enset to do and make sculpted or bas relief engraving a cinch. The Enset's capable of doing some very nice bas relief work because of the way the system operates at the slower speeds with the harder striking forces, able to really move metal and smooth things quite easily, and with a lot of control. For example, if you're in a tight area where it's critical to hold a good line, you can go very slowly so that you get a nice even line as you're hammering. And even when you get into tight places, you can even do a one hit and still smooth those areas out nicely. It's got enough power, and you can, and very adjustable. You can adjust the power by just simply changing the striker head, of course, or you can increase and decrease your pressure depending on what you're trying to do. So in this case, I really want to move a little bit of metal because I'm smoothing, but at the same time I want to do a little bit of forming as well. And you can see that I can move the metal. It's just like clay when it's being able to slow down and speed up all at once is a big advantage, especially when you come to areas like that where I had to blend. Instead of having to stop and change the speed or something, you won't have to do that. Now, if it's striking too hard for what you want to do, then all you have to do is turn down your pressure, and you should be able to hear now that it's hitting much lighter, but it still has plenty of power to smooth and move your metal. So you've got a lot of adjustment. The whole system has a lot of adjustment, and in some ways it's a little overwhelming for some people in the beginning, but once you understand it and work with it a while, you'll realize that because of all the adjustment that it's capable of, you will be making the tool do what you want it to do, as opposed to trying to keep up with the tool, let's say. And it could be something as small as, for example, right now, if I wanted a little bit more hit power, but with this lighter pressure, then I can bring the receiver in or out a little bit so that, you know, where and how the striker head strikes the back of the actual collet can make a difference. I can even have it kind of reciprocating in and out if necessary. I mean, there's just a lot of different things you can do. So I'm just going to continue here with some more smoothing. Now when I'm into this spot, I want a little bit more power to form it or move the metal a little bit, so I just turn my pressure up a few pounds and got more power, so now I can move the metal around more easily. Usually when I do this kind of engraving, when I get done, what I'll do is I'll go through it this way first and get things where I want it, and then I'll come back with a lighter striker head and not use quite as coarse a diamond grit wheel to give me a little bit smoother finish, and go over the whole thing one last time just with much lighter pressure and everything, and really smooth things out. Now if you want to leave the hammer marks or make them very consistent looking, which in my opinion looks really nice in steel, of course you can do that as well, and that would be just a matter of adjusting it, how you hold it, and punching along at a very consistent rate so that you get the kind of little dimples that are left by planishing and what have you. Something like this spot where I want to bring this tip down, I'll go ahead and do that, hammering it, but then I'll come back in and trim that tip down the way I want it, because as you can see, it's really moving the metal. And then afterwards, by coming in and trimming that, I can make it look really nice. So you can see I'm getting a nice form to the scroll, to the leaf structures, I guess. And if you want to do places that are concave, you can do that as well. Now you can make a punch that actually does the concave, or do it kind of what I'm doing here, which is to start in the center and push that metal down. Now then what I'll do is I'll come in and lighten up on my pressure again, and just kind of feather this in. You can see I got a nice concave area there. Of course, with the lighter pressure, I'm going to get a different kind of smoothing. It's not going to move the metal quite as hard, so it could become even smoother for you. But you still got enough pressure for some areas like in here where I want to bring this down as well. And all I have to do is just kind of hold it and push down a little bit harder as I hammer. Now we're using this same tool by holding it sideways. I get a wider area that I can smooth with. I really don't make a lot of different tools. I pretty much stick to this one kind of a bean shape, and I make them in different sizes. So I can do about everything I need with it. So now when I want to get that smoother, of course a bigger punch, a wider punch will make things even smoother. Again, it all depends on what you want to do. So that's the way the Enset can work to help you with this kind of work. So I'm going to show you a little bit of the final smoothing process. I went through and did the harder and heavier striker head. Now I've got the lightest one in and a finer texture on my punch. Get in here close so you can see it. Now once I do this, I'm done. I don't go back in and sand or stone or anything. It's just not necessary. About the only thing I will do is take a wire steel brush with fine bristles and just kind of brush everything, which will just give it just a little bit of shine. You can see here's another one, how smooth a finish you can get. I'll go ahead and while it's close up, I'll hit it with that brush that I was telling you about. It's made for rotary, but I just do it by hand. So you'll be able to get it that nice and clean.